pretty weird how the world works. So this is the Aeros Loop Studio by Singular Sound. Honestly, I've never heard of Singular Sound ever, and they actually approached me to check out a different pedal that kind of looks like a little Boss pedal with this little screen on there that just sounds like it's just it's like a drummer boy. It just like plays drums. That's all it does. You press the button and it's going to do like a little drum fill, and they're like, hey, you want to check this out? And I was like, that's kind of my job. I kind of like the drum programming side of things. And I was like, I don't know, it's cool, like the real drum sounds, I get it, you know, it's for certain people, guitar player, all this stuff. But in the middle of all that, I saw this thing on their website, and I was like, what's up with that Loop Studio? Because I've been looking for a looper for a really, really long time. And yes, I know I have an SP404 right here. I have the Octatrack, I have MPCs, I have delay pedals, but I've never actually owned a dedicated looper. And I've seen the 45,000 or the 4,500 or the 9 million X-Teen50 540 crazy big pedals with the faders and stuff. Really cool. I know Reggie Watts uses a pedal as well. Maybe they're like a Line 6 one. There's a ton of them. But they almost seemed like too much. And I could be way wrong. If you have one of those, let me know down below if they are as easy as this thing, because I've been having way too much fun with this thing. I literally just turned it on to show you how easy and fun it is to use this thing. And yes, Singular Sound is sponsoring this video, but that doesn't mean they're only going to get my positive opinion, because there are some downsides with this thing that are really, really annoying. But I think that might be me coming from this world, not a guitar looper performer world. So maybe it makes sense, but to me, I wish it did things differently. So enough talking. Here, let me go ahead and get going on this thing. Let's see where we're at. Okay, cool. So immediately, one thing that I thought kind of sucked was it has MIDI in, MIDI out, and I immediately got super excited because if I were to go and start a new song, I can have the tempo basically quantize to or not to be sorry, I had to a measure. If you have it set to on, you can get a tempo. It'll start at 200, but you can slow it down, you know, whatever tempo you want, count and measure and all this stuff. But what I was hoping to do was, if I go back here and I say home in settings, you have a MIDI out option, but you only have MIDI out channel. Don't know what the channel does, but what I wish it would have done is, if in the Loop Studio, I went and said, don't sync to anything, time signatures, free form, right? So let's say I go and make my own thing really quick. We'll say, so cool. Now I have a tempo. I wish that this would have sent that clock out to my other sequencers, and that the start and stop button would have sent a start and stop message to my other gear. But it doesn't. Oh well, I'll survive. It's fine. Let's move on. We'll go and find a kick. So you have 6 tracks. You can put this in a 2-track mode. I'm happy with the 6-track mode because I can do a lot more than just 2 tracks, but you can endlessly overdub, and I'm pretty sure you can just keep on overdubbing. And you even have an undo and redo on here. So let me go ahead and lay a kick down real quick. So I'm gonna just hit next track, and that's gonna jump us down into this track. Oh, so see, I accidentally hit record onto the next track, but I'll just hit play right here. So it just recorded silence, or in the case of an SP404, probably a little bit of ground noise. And what I can do here now is I can say, let's go here. That's cool. So I'm gonna go hit next track twice, 1, 2, and bring us back to the top. And I'm just gonna overdub on this. So let's see. Easy. We'll go and find a little clap sound. Maybe there's some reverb on here. Okay, so hold on. The reason I'm even doing this with the SP404 and what I was hoping to get out of a looper, which this 1000% does, and does more, to a point where it made me realize things that I wish it would have done. Like basically, because it did so much, it made me want even more than I originally wanted. Like, there weren't problems to begin with. But the real reason I originally got this was because I was doing this weird delay trick on here that DiBiase taught me, that Dakim taught him. Links to both of their stuff down below, where you can use the delay on here as a looper. And then I found out that you can even re-record and resample that looper buffer onto a pad. But what kind of sucked there was that the delay itself would constantly get quieter and quieter and quieter, and you would have to kind of fight it a bit and try, like, you can turn the feedback all the way up, but it just wouldn't last forever. At least it wouldn't self-oscillate, but it just wouldn't last forever. And I just wish I had more tracks and more tempo and time signatures to that. So that's what made me want a looper, and that's when I somehow came across this thing after searching up a bunch of the other things. Because what that allowed me to do was be able to have a start point and an end point, perfectly quantized, one moment in time, right here. Everything in between, complete chaos, unquantized, absolute, juicy, beautiful texture and everything in between. But you had a start and you had an end, which created a perfect loop. And it was up to you to find these rhythms within those rhythms. So this guides you a bit, but it gives you that flexibility of perfect unquantized motion and movement, but with a perfect start and a perfect end. And you can even take the SD card on here, which I don't have plugged in. Here we go. I hope this doesn't brick the entire thing. Plug that in and check this out. Now that we're here, actually, we'll call this song, we'll save it to the SD. Awesome. And we'll call it Song 1 Hot Fire with a Y and an H. Pro tip, makes all your songs sound better. And we'll save that. Song name already exists. Told you. Pro tip. I do this a lot. Hot Fire for real. That's how you know it's true. If it says for real or this is a fact, you got to believe it. Okay, so let's go ahead and add some more stuff. We'll go and overdub into this track. Actually, that was too loud. Here, I'll show you undo. Press and hold this. Takes it away. And turn the volume down. Cool. Now overdub. Awesome. So now I'm going to find my sample. We'll do a remain. Next track. So I'm going to press this twice. So it briefly goes play, like stop record, play, and then it goes into overdub. And this is actually another good point to mention here. So I'm going to say play. So the reason I hit that overdub button, or I hit it twice to go into overdub, is to catch the reverb tail of this sample. But what's super neat is if I were to say home, save this song, in the settings you can actually change the way that this button functions. So watch. Home, settings, if we go down near the bottom, there is RPO and ROP. So record, play, overdub, and record, overdub, play. I found this setting way later after updating and all that stuff. My muscle memory got built into double tapping, so when I switched it, I started getting super confused and mixed up on my own. So I just went back to the way it came, where I would just double tap it. It was just easier for me to know, like double tap to catch a tail, hit it once to stop and not catch the tail. But it's cool that they kind of thought about that. I think that's, I appreciate that. Okay, let's add this thing. I've actually never used this thing before, or in like years. It turns on, awesome. Does it work? Ooh, and that sounds sick with the reverb. Why is that one and this one sound the same? Oh, what? Is that just an octave up? What a rip. Okay, I guess we'll go octave up. So, play this. All right. hold it. Crank that reverb. Double tap. Yeah. So then can I go violin? Next track. Uh-oh. My brain is maxing out. Okay, cool. We out. Well, this is just too intense over here. Okay, that's kind of cool. So I'll say record. So I think I caught some weird tail in overdubbing in this track here. So I'm just gonna go next track, next track, next track, and hit undo. And just, if I keep holding it down, it'll clear it out completely. So I'll go to fantasy again. I would hit the wrong note. We'll make it work though. Do I want to fix this? I don't. Where's my clap at? So check this out. I can hold down part and it'll take us to the mixer. I need to find where this clap's at. I think it's with my kick. Oh, it is here. It's just not showing. Strange. Okay, hope my clap is in there somewhere. There are little bugs here and there, and this is the one thing that annoys me the most with this thing. But again, let me preface this by saying this wasn't an issue until I wanted it. And I was fine. My life was completely fine before I knew this existed. But in my brain, maybe I'm thinking of this completely different because this, like, first off, these buttons are unlike any button I've ever felt, incredibly stable, incredibly touchy, and it feels really, really, really good to play. But you can totally tell this thing's built like a tank and meant to be on the floor and stomped on. But maybe that's not where my brain's at, right? And that's why I think of this as a weird thing. So you see this thing, select part, yeah? If I go and select a new part, everything gets erased. And in my head, I think of parts as patterns. And that's kind of how they list this as well, is parts are patterns. But you can't copy one part to another, so you immediately have to re-record everything. However, I can touch these tracks. And you see these little white squares? Those represent locked tracks. And with locked tracks, I can press play, select a new part, and hit record. And once this whole measure ends, it's going to jump into recording new tracks. But these three get deleted, right? But my drums stay. Okay, that's not too bad. I guess I can go back and record in some more things, and it'll leave me room to create new parts and new patterns and think of new things. But check this. How about on this part, I don't want the kick. So I'm gonna go hold this down and I'm gonna mute that. All right, so we muted the kick. If I go back to the other part, the kick is still there. But let's say if we weren't to mute this and I wanted to record a new kick. So I would hold down this and undo that track. So let's go back to this part here and see what happens. You can see our waveforms queue up, pretty cool. Our kick is gone. So locked tracks, which act as patterns, the locked tracks, which is what you use to copy info from one part to another part, with the locked tracks, you still with me? That is across all the tracks. So all changes made to a locked track live across all parts or all patterns in my brain. So I think that that sucks. And to go even further, once you lock a track, you can't unlock it. And you can only lock a track if the track before it is locked. Crazy board game rules when it comes to doing things. But again, let me mention this again. I didn't think that this was an issue until I wanted it to not be there. So I'm gonna go ahead and go to this track really quick and show you what I think is really cool. So I'm gonna redo that, bring the kick back, or undo. Yeah, that's a redo. Cool, I'll go ahead and save this. This is where I think this is super awesome because I was able to get this weird kind of movement and feel and play of whatever this is, and I can then, I hope this doesn't brick it. Take out the SD card. Also in the manual it says don't use a micro SD card inside a SD card holder. Oops, I read that after I did this. No, I didn't. I actually read that well before I did this. But anyway, let's see if this will work. I hope it's still on here. Oh, need my chair. Let's see, let's see. SD card reader. Clearly have a project already up. I am going to, oh man, you know what? I'm just not going to save it. I can always make something better than the last thing I made. It's a good thing to think of. Okay, so let's bring up Finder. We'll go up here, Untitled, Songs. What's the song called again? Hot Fire for Real. So look at this. It's a little tricky to read, but it's CH part A. So channel, part A. Then there's part B, and then SP. I forget what, you know what, let's just listen to it. So all I figured out was A is A. So if I go in here, and another pro tip, if you find like an audio channel, let's say here, and you hold down Command, it'll actually lay out all your stems vertically. So I'm gonna go ahead and just delete multi-clock, this, rhythm, and I'm gonna select all these, set them to auto. I don't remember the BPM actually, but I can double check here. 88. Wait, are you telling me I set this, I said I usually go to 88 and then I just played it at 88? Wow, been doing this too long. Okay, so here it is. Look, here's our stems, and they're each independent. Basically, we have this one. Right, and then we have our kick. Oh, that just kicked me in the nuts. And then we'll have this one. And then if I just go ahead and grab this, duplicate that, we have our chords down here and everything. We're good to go. Look at this. And yeah, this is great because that kick is way too loud. And could use a bit of a compressor. Like if I wanted to go and add a compressor to this, you know what? Where are my headphones? I'm getting too excited. Okay. Cool. So, kick is too loud. I'll go here, add compressor. I mean, you get the idea. This is, all I'm doing now is finishing up the idea I wanted to have earlier. I can go and add peak stuff. I see all my stuff showing up here on the push. Push, as professionals call it, not the push. I've been told off a couple times. But yeah, that's it. Look at that. Awesome. And I can say delete this. We'll grab this whole section here, duplicate that, and now I can actually do what I wanted to do, which was create patterns. So then I can say this part, we'll zero that out. Right, we'll go here, loop this. Grab this, take that part out, duplicate this, we're on SP950. Ooh, you hear that alias? That's top secret right there. I'll say this track here. Oh, what did I throw it on? What? Oh, I see where we're going. I'm getting too far ahead of myself. Kind of artifacty, right? You hear that a little bit? Let me go ahead and grab all of these. Beats, we'll do complex. Repitch. Ooh. Repitch is always the smoothest, but it does kind of pitch things around weirdly. I mean, hence the name. Okay, now we got this. We can go here, loop this. I mean, you get the idea. You completely get the idea. Aeros, or one second. This Singular Sound. Thank you so much for sending this thing over. I could be in the completely wrong headspace when I'm thinking about this thing, and I'm maybe just, it kind of feels like I'm using it for something that it wasn't meant to be used as or for, but maybe we can work on those shortcomings, because that would be super duper awesome. Maybe that's how the other samplers or the other loopers work. Who knows? Anyway, sorry I didn't check out the Charmer Boy thing. I love this thing. You ain't getting it back. Yeah, it's been allowing me to do all this fun, weird, unquantized stuff that I was mentioning earlier, and then drag and drop it into here, no problem, and then, you know, lay down something on Peak or the Octatrack or the modular system and have my weird, unquantized vibe. The base is set, the vibe is set, and then I can build upon that easily. The parts thing is a bit of a shortcoming, but at the end of the day, I'm just going to end up in here anyway, so it doesn't really bother me there. Actually, I don't even know how much this thing is. Let's find out. $5.99. Okay, not too bad. I mean, yeah, that's not bad at all. Used to be $7.70. Oh man, but yeah, $5.99. Not bad. Again, yeah, Aeros, thanks so much for sending this over. I really appreciate it. And I really appreciate you for kicking it and coming by and hanging out, as I always do. If you want to support the channel, sell some merch like this at this link right here. But you kicking it is more than enough. I'm going to see what I could do with this thing. So I'll be here kicking it for a little bit. But yeah, until then, I'll see you in the next one. You already know the drill. Share the love. Share the knowledge. Knowledge is power. Peace. Okay, where we at? Where we at? Can I lay anything else down? Okay, that's kind of cool. Drag this in here. What I'm going to do, I'm going to group these, and I'll group this into synths, and we'll grab this whole section here, copy this over, compressor, and I want to sidechain the crap out of this. My kick's on the Nord channel, sweet.